As experienced model makers, we're normally quite confident in our choices of glue when it comes to parts of our project. But the choice is bewildering. And if you're a new person to the hobby, it's absolutely mind-blowing. It's time to do some investigation. Hi, welcome back to St Blazey Model World. I'm Roger. Before I begin this week's video, I really would like to thank Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider, for his kind words recently in one of his recent videos. If you're not familiar with that channel, you'll find a link in the description. Glue, well, it's absolutely mind-blowing. Let's have a look at some of the things that are out there on the market, and some of these I'll use and some I won't use, and I'll point out the reasons why as we start to investigate. So these are just some of the glues that are on the market, and it's worth pointing out right now that this is not a complete list by any means. It's also worth mentioning that some of these glues and glue products are not aimed at the scale model maker. They're more for the DIY home improvement market. Why does that matter? Well, a lot of our work will start with the building of a baseboard and a diorama. And for that, we need to have a little bit of knowledge about the world of DIY. Now, when it comes to joining bits of wood together, I'm an Evo stick man. Mainly because that was the glue that was used by my father and his father before him. Recently, onto the UK market at least, is the arrival of Gorilla Glue. But if you are going to use Gorilla Glue, please use the dedicated wood glue. I'm just going to show you now what happens if you order the standard sort of wood glue that tends to pop up if you do a Google search for it for purchasing. You're going to find this interesting. Stick around. Okay, Gorilla Glue claims to be the all-round solution, doesn't it? The one-stop shop. But please do not use this generic Gorilla Glue on your wooden baseboard joints. I'll show you why. Here is an example of the glue as applied. This is going onto a piece of paper, but believe me, I've seen exactly the same results on wood. So there it all looks rather good, doesn't it? Let's look across now to some that I applied a couple of days ago. This is the cured example. And what you possibly can't see is exactly how much that has expanded. This has reacted almost like expanded foam. And of course it goes without saying that that will knock your wooden joints, your carefully crafted wooden joints for your baseboards, wholly out of kilter. Not what you want. So if you are going to use Gorilla Glue, please go with the dedicated wood glue. Quite an interesting experiment that. And I recently put a post on my community channel about what glue you might kind of use for your wooden baseboards. This was one I suggested, along with Evo stick. I'm an Evo stick guy because my father used it, his father before him used it. So it's interesting. Just to show you now how much that Gorilla Glue has actually expanded, just going to put a ruler against it. Really easy to film, but I hope you can see there that that cured Gorilla Glue, the generic one, has expanded to a height of 5 millimeters, maybe 6, just off of the paper there. And that illustrates just how much that's going to distort your baseboards. So, yeah, might have its uses, but not for model making. Well, this video is being filmed over several days, so apologies. Once again, the lights are on inside the house. Darker evenings have come to the UK. When it comes to your model railway track, you've got a couple of options. Pinning and screwing are two of them, but personally I prefer to glue my track down, and with that I go with this tried and tested option. Copy decks. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Why? Well, because I like the fact that Copydex dries in a rubberized way, not a sort of hard form like PVA glue. And that means it's easy to remove if we make a mistake. I know that my good friend at Chadwick loves the fact that Copydex gives sound deadening qualities so that he can hear his DCC speakers. But really, for me, Copydex is the way to go with your track. Apply a decent amount in a thick layer, weigh it down, and that track will not move until you lift it up with a decorator's scraper.
So when it comes to plastic kits, you have two options. Option A, the gel cement, it's dreaded stuff. This is one example, many others out there. Please don't use it. Very difficult to control the flow of the product out of the tube. You'll end up with glue everywhere, all over the bits you don't want, and it has a very long drying time as well. Much better to go through a liquid cement, something like this. This particular one is Tamiya product. I love my Tamiya stuff, but there are many other makers out there. Please, if you're building a plastic kit, go with liquid cement, the much preferred option.
So when it comes to your scenic scatters, your little bits of scenery, PVA. This particular one is from Dial. It's a home brand here in the UK, available from B&Q. And I use this for a lot of stuff. When I'm applying my scenic scatters, I use it neat and it works superbly well. But don't forget, you can also dilute this stuff, and I frequently do. Whenever I'm building a baseboard for a diorama, one of my first tasks after construction of the baseboard is to dilute my PVA 50-50. 50% PVA, 50% water, apply it, and that gives a really good seal over my diorama. That's kind of against what you might feel because you're putting a degree of water there, but once you do that, you really do give your diorama baseboard the perfect grip for anything else that may follow and prevent it against warping through damp or any other kind of ingress. PVA, beautiful stuff, love it, highly recommend it. If you can't afford any other model making accessory, buy PVA. So glue guns are absolutely great, aren't they? This diorama, long past its best, and if you're a regular to the channel, you've seen it before. But this little tree here, planted with a glue gun. This small formation of rocks, which was made out of polyfiller, planted and sealed into place with a glue gun. They really do have their uses. All you need to do, guys, is look around. The options are everywhere. Think outside the box as always. That wraps it up for this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful and informative. We'd love to hear your comments. As always, please remember to like, share and subscribe. Lots more coming soon from St Blazey Model World. Bye for now.